Welcome to the show. Let's take a look at the S&P 500 and see what's going on. Let me just squeeze this up a touch so we can see the dates. Alrighty. Looking at the weekly chart here, we'll look at the daily, we'll look at the trade of the day. For the week, the range has only been 36.25. Of course, a shortened week because Monday was Christmas. Praise God. And so we've only traded Tuesday and Wednesday this week, but still 36 and a quarter, pretty small for 2 days worth of trading. We're at the end of the year, kind of typical to have some unexpected behavior. So we'll see how this plays out all the way through the end of the year, which is about another 6 days, right? Whatever it is, 5 days. Let's see here. You can see 4836.5 is the high, all-time high, as a matter of fact, has happened this week. And I mentioned this yesterday, I'll say it again today. By next week, if we don't see a little bit of, if we're not seeing some downtick starting to happen next week, then this cycle low either won't happen or it'll be kind of shallow. Okay, usually you like to see, typically you see 3 weeks for pullbacks. But that might not happen in this. This could be a really shallow pullback. Could just be one little weak thing like this. A little red candlestick. You know, and that was 80 points. So pretty small pullback on a weekly range. So I'll be keeping an eye on that. Right now, as things are right now, this pullback just looks like it's, you know, kind of dead in the water. But like I said, it could still happen because that's probably about 2.5 weeks. Yeah, maybe almost 3 weeks out, something like this, to this date. All right. On the SMI, we're sitting up here at 89, which is high, but not extremely high for the weekly chart. And then the MACD here at 115. Yeah, it's pretty high. That's pretty high for the MACD. I've talked about this before, but there's been a few times it's been a little bit higher. Way back over here was I think I see 175. Yeah, it was 175 back here on the week of May 3rd, 2021, when the money printing machine was going nuts. You know, money was just growing on trees back then, and now it's different. So I could see the market maybe not getting up to this like 175. So 115 is pretty high. Over here, it got to 138, which was back in July of this year, 2023. So I think the MACD is probably going to run out of gas here. Not sure exactly how much longer, but it probably will run out of gas. Remember, we're talking weekly charts, so this could take a while. All right, let's take a look at the daily. Before I switch to the daily, though, actually, I want to just talk about some divergence right here going on. I think it's this week. Yeah. So there's divergence showing up on the Big Daddy forecast, this indicator of my own. And that's, you know, kind of hinting that there could be something coming up here. You know, we saw back something kind of like that. Okay. So, and it went up even higher. Eventually, it came back down and got below. Let's see, where did this start? It actually just came down, matched it. It's pretty funny. Just built a triangle there. So that's the first one. Just kind of looking at patterns here. This is the first divergence we're seeing on the Big Daddy here. So small hint that we could could be run out of steam on the weekly chart, though that could take several weeks before it finishes doing its thing. Okay, let's take a look at the daily for real now. All right, so here we are on the daily chart. Of course, divergence has been going nuts for, you know, a good solid month on both these indicators. Just absolutely on fire. Market's completely ignoring divergence, doesn't care. Just ignoring it. Today we hit an all-time high right here, 4836.5. And at the moment, no sign of slowing down. There was a little small pullback on this day back here about a week ago, and then he's off to the races again. MACD is, of course, been very elevated. Over here was 90, and right now we're looking at almost 87. So it stayed very elevated. This is very high. This is very, very high on the daily. This thing's like just creeping up every day. Small little range days. Very typical. Very typical of a bull market, just creeping up every day. Small range days just keep pecking away up and up and up, small amounts. So there's money to be made there. You just got to be careful about how you do it. Okay, divergence. MACD's pegged to nearly pegged to the 9s. More divergence down here. Nearest support at the moment is 47.43. These two candlesticks do have a little bit of a base there. And then below that would be 46.52, which would be further down. Okay, but really can't talk too much about support until the market gives us some type of behavioral change. And right now that hasn't happened. Just keeps pecking a little higher, a little higher, a little higher. Okay. Although there's been data going on for the last week or two that says this market should pull back, but don't tell the market that. All right, let's look at the trade of the day. Okay, we're on the 15-minute chart here, looking at the trade of the day. Now remember, today's total range was only 20 points. 20. That's it. That's all there was. On the spider, I guess that's the equivalent of 2. Actually, the 2 should be over here, right? Yeah. So there was very tight range today. So was there a trade of the day on such a tight range day? Well, as a matter of fact, there was. See, with the right tools, you can still make money. I'm not saying it's easy, because this was a very choppy day. Look how choppy this 15-minute chart. Look at this choppiness. Over here is 4 a.m. in the morning, and this is the close at 3 o'clock. You can just see this thing is just chopping like crazy. Look at this, choppy, chop. I feel just kind of here in the afternoon, it was, there were some possible trades. But early in the day was, unless you're doing tiny little scalpy stuff, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But you're talking 3 to 5 point scalps in here. That's all you're getting. Maybe 6 point scalps at max is all you're getting in all this mess. 3, 4, 5, 6 point scalps. So a little bit rough. But the trade of the day really. You can see we had quite a few Get Us Plus indicators coming up. We usually focus on the yellow ones, sorry. These yellow ones. Okay. So you can see it was firing off today because the market was so choppy. All right, so let's take a look and see where was the trade of the day. Well, the trade of the day was right here. 12:15 Texas time, CST. Okay. Market was rising. We get the signal right here on this candlestick, this little gray looking doji. All right. Market was already starting to move down, made this little move, starting to come back up, a little rollover, and that's when you're in the trade. So somewhere in this candlestick, you take the trade, maybe halfway down. Not the easiest of the trades I've seen, but still tradable. Once you got this rollover right in here, you could see the 2 peaks, right? 1, 2, and they're headed this way. A little bit more complex trade as far as looking at the technical data and the indicators, but that's how I would trade this, and I've traded this before. Get 2 peaks like that, you connect them, they're pointing down. Because the MACD look at the MACD is a mess over here. It's just a thing's a mess. And this paid pretty well too. Okay, 10, 20 points. Again, more than that, sorry. About, see, what was this candlestick? The high was called 33. Yeah. But in any case, just look at the blocks of, I'm kind of looking at the blocks of 5. So there's 5 here and there's 5 here. I think realistically, you can extract probably just about 20 points out of this. I'm sorry, 10 points out of this. maybe 12. And think about that. It's a 20 range day and you're extracting probably 12 if you're paying attention. That means out of the total day, you extracted, with only, you only missed out on 8 points of the range of profit. That's really good on such a tight day like this. Yeah. Really good. I mean, clearly this is, whatever this is, more than 50%. Right? You're catching more than 50% of the profit or 50% of the range for the whole day. And on a small day like that, that's really good. That's good money. Okay. So even on a tight range day like today, there was some opportunity here to make some money. Particularly right here in this trade right here, which was to me was the only really decent trade of the whole day. You could kind of sink your teeth into. If I saw this mess going on right here, I didn't even forget about it. I saw the Get Us Plus indicator come in, and I was like, oh my gosh, what a chop fest. Lots of lower wicks here, some upper wicks. You start seeing that going on, a lot of lower upper wicks. It's very choppy. So I think there could have been maybe a few points to the profit there, but I really didn't want to mess with that. This to me was the trade of the day. Some decent money right here. And the thing is, even if you do jump in this trade, you should be able to come out net neutral, maybe a small profit, maybe a small loss, but it's, this paying attention to what's going on here, right? It's going down. And this indicator happens. So you want to be trading short, obviously. And there probably was, like I said, a few points in there. But even if you got it wrong, right? Even if you got this wrong, you weren't wrong by much, and you can make up for it right here on this trade. So even on a choppy day, the Get Us Plus indicator is usually going to give you decent timing on an entry. Now, it's not always perfect. I mean, this one went absolutely nuts. I mean, if you took this trade, which really started like right there. Not easy to time this one. This one was just like at the end of the day went crazy. This all happened I think this actually happened in a 5-minute. We're on the 15-minute chart here, but I think most of this happened in 5 minutes. That's how fast it happened. This big candlestick. So, is that really tradable? Probably not, unless you're just like on top of the charts, breathing on them, got a saddle on it, and you're riding it for all it's worth. Then you might catch that. But I'm pretty busy throughout the day. I'm not going to sweat it if I miss a 5-minute movement. It's just part of trading, especially on a choppy day. And let's just switch over to the hourly, because I don't show this very often. I'll switch to the hourly and show you was the hourly cycle on today. So here I think it said it was 1 o'clock. Let's see for the green cycle. Yeah, 12:59 p.m., which is 1 o'clock. Where was the low? 1 o'clock, right on the button. So even in a choppy day, this has been sitting there forecasted for several days. This green label was over here earlier today. I just moved it a little while ago, but it said over here, it said 1300 in green. Okay. Of course, 1300 in military time or 24-hour time is 1 o'clock. And that candlestick right there is 1 o'clock. So even with all this, look at this day, basically just tracking sideways the whole day. From last night all the way through today, hardly any movement. But even in all that, the cycle analysis here still got the lowest point of the day, which is what the point of this is right here. This should be the low, and it was. Pretty amazing stuff, right? So the cycles can help you get either out of a trade or in a trade, depending on what your objectives are, right? That's the point of the cycle analysis on the 1 hour chart and the daily that goes out to the members. All right, so if you want to become a member, there's a link below this video. Make sure you read the instructions very carefully. Once you've done that, you click on the link. It's going to bring you over to Get a Server. You click on Server Shops, brings you to here. $7.99 a month. That's just an amazing value. Super cheap. Okay, most of my members I think they just view this as coin. They're making more than enough money to cover the membership. That has a lot to do with you, how patient you are. Are you mature? Do you have big enough, how big is your account? Stuff like that all comes into play. But if you're patient, I think the service is probably going to pay for itself. If you're coming in here looking for all-in trades and you want to make $1 million in one day, yeah. Does any service really do that? No service does that. And I see these guys on YouTube, it cracks me up. They put out these ads. I saw an ad the other day. Guy puts out this ad and he says, I'm the $300 million options guy. Something like this, $100 million options guy. Click here. And I'm thinking, well, what does that mean? $100 million options guy. Does that mean he has $100 million? It was something like this. It literally said this, 100M. Like, does that mean he has $100 million? Does that mean that he coaches a bunch of people and their total account value of all the people he coaches is 100 million? You see how people can play games with words, right? And I got to thinking about this ad that this guy put out, and I'm thinking, if he had $100 million, which is what basically he was implying without really saying much about his ad, would he really be giving you the training? Would he really be offering you a service and training? Is that what he's going to do with his free time? He's a 100 millionaire. These ads are such baloney, you know? I mean, I'm not saying he couldn't do that. Maybe that's just his pride and joy. He likes helping people out. It's possible. But most of that's baloney. You know, if I have $100 million, I probably wouldn't have this service because there's other things I really like to be doing. I like to do inventions and other ideas I really have. I probably wouldn't even be trading because I have $100 million. I don't have to trade. The interest on $100 million alone is just crazy. It's insane. I mean, just think about it. Just think about 1% of $100 million. Okay? Whatever. It's just stupid. If that's all you've got was 1% of $100 million, you'd never have to do, money's never going to be an issue for the rest of your life. That's all I'm really trying to say. So I question these guys who put out these ads and talk about, I'm the $100 million options guy. No, you're not. Don't lie to us. I think the odds are very low that you've got all this free time in your hands with $100 million and you've chosen to help other people. That's what you choose to do. Come on. Probably not being completely honest. So as you can see, I don't go out and make these extraordinary, ridiculous claims, okay? I just keep it real, all right? And I'm not saying everybody that joins my service for $7.99 is going to get it and they're going to be able to make money, because I just know that's not reality. Some people just don't have the knack for trading. Some people are impatient. Some people are very emotional. They have one bad trade, they leave, they blame the service because they made bad decisions and they weren't willing to be patient. And let me tell you another thing. I've been trading for decades, probably 30 to 40 years. I've made mistakes. I've lost money. I've probably made more than I've lost, but I've lost money along the way. But what I don't do is quit trading, because you just keep learning, you keep getting better. The last few years have been really good because I've finally got to a place where I'm maturing and I'm making better decisions, and I'm way more patient than I used to be. So I'm not going to go around blaming a service unless the service like blatantly tells me, go do this right now, and then it goes bad. Okay, man, I might blame the service. I've had that happen to me once or twice. Yeah, it was a really cheapy service. I paid like $5. And the guy, I'm not going to mention the guy's name, but it was a really cheapy service. You paid like $5 a month, and he put out these symbols, these stock symbols. And he would, once a month, he put out the stock symbols, and he would say, he'd put out the symbols late. What I mean is he'd put out the symbols, and then a day or two later, he'd say, look, we called it right. The symbols went up, the price went up on these stocks. But when you'd get the email for his recommendations, they'd be like a half day after the stock price moved. It's like he was always sending you the stock symbols after the price movement happened. And then he would turn around and claim that he told all his members that he got it right. It was like a total baloney, really shady stuff. I'm like, glad I only paid $5, right? So it does happen. You do get some shady services out there, but I wasn't crying over spilt milk for $5. You just quit the service, no big deal. But I've had plenty of members here that have joined my service for $7.99 a month, and I know for a fact they just view this as coin. They're making a few $100 minimum a week. Okay, now usually these are traders that got at least some experience under their belt, and they're also very patient, right? They didn't come into the service looking to do all-in trades and, hey, it's lottery or it's Texas Hold'em poker, we're all in. That's just a bad idea. So, I'm not going to sit here and blow smoke up someone's backside and say every single person that comes into service is going to make money, because it has a lot to do with you. But I do honestly believe that if you use the service and are patient, the service will eventually pay for itself. So let's talk about what does the service include. Well, there's streaming charts. This includes a 5-minute, the 15-minute, and the 1 hour. And as we saw in the trade of the day, there's the Get Us Plus indicator on there. And as I don't usually show it that often, but I showed the 1 hour chart today, and you saw the cycles on there about how that kind of helps you time to get in the trade and out of the trade. Okay. So in addition to the Get Us Plus indicator suggesting that there might be a trade, you can also kind of be aware of the market's flow, right? Of when there's going to be a low in the market, because that's what the cycles low tell you. And that's both on the hourly chart and the 1 hour charts. That's really nice. Okay, so in addition to the streaming charts, whenever the Get Us Plus indicator suggests that there might be a trade, it also sends an alert over here to the S&P 500 alerts channel. So that's convenient. If you don't have time to watch the chart, you're busy that day, but you got the Discord app, maybe it's on your phone, okay, then you can still get the alerts on this channel. Most people are just right-clicking on this channel here, and they set notifications on. So those two things work together, streaming charts with this alert channel, okay? Now, we also send out alerts for all of these as well. Now, these don't have streams, okay? The streaming chart's just for the S&P 500, okay? But these do still get alerts. You get gold alerts, crude oil alerts in the top 30 stocks, the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ. And then the daily alert just says if there's a daily chart for any one of these top 30 stocks, if the Get Us Plus indicator suggests there's going to be a trade on there on the daily chart for any of these symbols, it'll send it into this channel. So that's kind of nice too for people who may be looking to do swing trades. So there's a lot of alerts going on here all day long, and sometimes there'll be no alerts in there or just a few alerts in there, depending on what the day's like. Okay, the premium symbols is anywhere from 2 to 4 files of symbols go in here. So future symbols, optionable stocks, industry symbols, and symbols that look like they might be shortable. I use the futures symbol file quite a bit. Look at that. Okay, the currency, I've talked about this before, but sometimes I'll trade currency. It's currency futures. That might be the euro dollar. That could be, so, the euro dollar, I might trade it long or short depending on what the US dollar is doing. Because whatever the US dollar is doing, the euro is usually doing the opposite. So that's a way to trade the dollar if you want to trade futures. Okay, you can just trade the euro. So that's kind of nice. I might trade British pound in there sometimes, or the Aussie dollar. Okay, nightly emails go out every night to the members, Monday through Thursday. And the S&P 500 chart is attached. The S&P 500 chart, is attached to this email. And I give a few sentences of my opinion about what I think the market's going to do, okay? Fixed income, this includes corporate bonds I might be occasionally buying. CD rates, which I haven't updated in a while, but I can put some in there. And then also savings account. Like I have a savings account that pays me over 5%. That's in there as well. Now that, if the Federal Reserve cuts the lending rate, obviously savings accounts would come down with it. But for now, they're still really good. Okay, S&P 500 channel. This is obviously where we just do a lot of chat, and S&P 500 chat goes on in here. Member chat, just generic chat. If you're a member and you have a support issue, if it's about email, put it in the email only channel. If it's for anything else, put it in the member chat. Okay, so member chat, I'll pick up support issues. Okay, so all these channels here, every single one of these channels in this big old rectangle here, this vertical rectangle, those are all members only. So that's $7.99 gets you all this. Okay. This channel up here, the general channel, this is just kind of like a hello, welcome to the server channel. There's nothing really in there. All right. And also lastly, please read the rules. Be nice to everybody else. Rules are in there. Don't force me to kick you. If you're going to come in and be a jerk on the server, it's going to catch up with you. I'm going to kick you out. Don't post nasty stuff. I don't tolerate that stuff on my server. Okay, this is legitimate business. So please be nice to everybody else. Be respectful. There's a refund rules are in there, and there's a disclaimer that I'm not a financial advisor. I only give my opinion. That's in there as well. Okay, so please read the rules. All right, I think that covers it, everybody. Like I said, if you want to join, read the instructions in the just below the YouTube video. Click on the link, come to get a server, click on server shop, and there you are, $7.99 a month. Okay. All right, everybody. Happy trading. God bless. Talk to you all real soon again next time.